So tonight, waiting for my pork to rest, I bought some wine today in sort of the intent being crowd pleasers and good value for flavor. And I also bought a few sakes. I think I was talking sort of recently that I do really like sake. I didn't have any, and I think it's a perfect accompaniment for sushi. I don't really like it with anything else, and I am talking about cold sake. I know sake sometimes is warmed up. Warmed up sake is typically a lower quality sake that they're warming up to hide the impurities and the imperfections. Cold sake is meant to be drank just like a white wine, fine white wine. And it's actually more made like brewed like beer than it is vinified like wine, because they're making it out of rice. But it absolutely falls more in line with the tastes and the pairings of wine to me with sushi. So I bought 3 of them, and all of the, well, 2 of them are the same brand. So this is Tozai's Living Jewel Junmai. So a clean, clear sake and Junmai Kyoto. A lot of the sakes are, to get to the high, Junmai Daijinjo is sort of like a top. Jinjo and Daijinjo is in the top few percent of the sakes that are made. Higher quality rice, more polished rice, things like that. So a cleaner taste. You definitely get some different flavor profiles. I've had a fair amount of experience with sake, but not the most in the world. And this is certainly not a whole video about sake, but I did buy this one. I think this is a great one. It's about $13, $14. Great sake to have cold. Also the same brand, Tozai. This is called Snow Maiden, and this is Junmai Nigori. And you'll see that there's sediment in here. And it actually has a sweeter, very milkier taste. Definitely an acquired taste, but it works with sushi. I really enjoy it. So, got that one also. And that's also in that same price range, $15-ish or sub 15. Then I bought Junmai Jinjo, and this is at the top. $30. I've always loved this sake. It's called Wandering Poet, and I don't know exactly who it's imported by anymore. A Vine Connection. It doesn't really matter that much, but I've always thought this had a really clean taste, a really great taste, and one of my favorites at that price point at $30. My favorite sake I've had is called Divine Droplets. It's the highest end of this, I think, this importer or producer, and it almost has an anise flavor to it, which I really think is awesome. If I see that one again, I'll buy it. It used to be 50, 60. I think it's got up to 70. I don't even think I've seen Divine Droplets in ages, and it's got this, I'll even read it if I ever find it. It's got this very unique way of making it, very intensive way of making it. So those were the sakes. Everything else I bought was red. It is very, very cold, so it's sort of red season. 2 wines are exactly the same, and then I'll talk about what I'm going to open tonight. First, okay, this one's probably not in that affordable range, and this has a pretty cool label. Well, it's actually a castle. So this is Owen Rowe's The Kilmore. It's a Pinot Noir, 2016. And I haven't had this in a while, but I love Owen Rowe as a producer. I feel like everything they make is really, really good. And this I had once before, I think, many, many, many years ago, and I thought it was fantastic. It's absolutely Burgundian in style. They even brought, it looks like, the cuttings over from France, from Burgundy, and put them here. It says Yamhill, Carlton. Yeah, that's the AVA in Oregon. So super high end. It's $40. Not super high end, but high quality, good Burgundian Pinot out of Oregon. So the rest are all in that other vein. Start with this since I already talked about it. So this is a 2018 Leviathan. I think this wine for $32 is really, really good. And I know it's got that goofy label and the goofy name, but it's a great wine. I had it, I did it at that $30 or so tasting. I think I've seen this wine for more, but I got it for $32 again today. 2018 is an amazing vintage out of Napa. It's going to be heralded as the greatest vintage out of Napa, supposedly. And this wine's awesome for $32. So, Leviathan. I also got a Torbreck Barossa Valley, so a Shiraz out of Australia, woodcutter Shiraz. So Torbreck's got things all the way up to Run Rig, which is a few $100s, even got one above that. Torbreck's a really, really great producer. Even their lower priced wines are awesome. This is a $20 wine. I think this wine's great. Had it recently. Really was impressed with the quality at this price point, so I really liked it. So I think this is a great $20 wine. I bought Gerard's Petite Syrah 2017. I think this is a great Petite Syrah. Probably the best Petite Syrah you're going to get for the money. And I think this is 30. I don't know the exact price. Used to get it for the 20s. I feel like it's crept up to 30. Maybe it's 28. Somewhere around there. But the best Petite Syrah you're going to get for the money is certainly this, I think. So it's big, it's bold, and it's exactly 14.5% alcohol. It expresses itself as Petite Syrah. It's a great wine. And the next two I got were Charles Smith. So I know it says CS on there. They're going for this periodic chart thing. CS is just Cab Sauvignon. And he calls these wines of substance. Charles Smith is the winemaker, and he's got a lot of labels. Things like, it's a white label with sort of like some funky white writing on it. It looks a little eccentric. He's typically out of Washington. This is out of Washington State. Most of his wines are out of Washington. That's where his winery is. He makes some very high-end wine too, $50, $60, $70, $80 wines. This one's only 15 and under. You could find this wine anywhere from 12 to 16, I think. Or 13 to 16, I'd say, is what I've seen it. I think it's a great wine for the price. So if you're going to buy that sub $20 cab, this tastes like wine. Is it amazing? No, but it's good. It's absolutely good. I drink it. I've drank it many a times. I now officially recommend it, I think, as a wine that is in that range for people that like cab, want cab, and don't want to break the bank. So I think you're drinking cab. I'm definitely going to do a tasting with this and some other wines, no doubt. I really want to see where it stacks up with some of the others. Let's say Leviathan, Obsidian, that I've been very happy about, that I discovered this in the last 12 months. The Trader Joe's, maybe some other wines at $10 range. I don't know. I'm going to do a spread of wines in a price range of cabs. Maybe end with like a $40 or $50. Go to the 30 range. Go to the 20 range. Go to that. The CS, and then the lower end range, and just see how it stacks up against all of them. I think that would be the fairest way to assess its quality for its price. The last wine I bought two more, but I'm not going to show them. I'm just not hugely keen on Chilean wine. If there's a region in the world I probably don't buy very much from, it's probably Chile. There's no real great reason for it, except that a lot of the wines there have sort of let me down. Montes Purple Angels, a Carmenere out of Chile, which isn't a great wine, but now it's $70, $80. I have one in my cellar here. So I saw this for $30. And I don't necessarily, I've already talked about scorers. James Suckling, I believe, rates things pretty high. This is get 94. I don't really care. I'll be the judge of what I believe this wine tastes like. So this is out of the Mapo Valley in Chile. Vina Tarapaca, Grand Reserve, Etiqueta Negra. So I don't know. Oh, there's no way I could read the back of that label. So if I could do an update. I'm going to try this and have this wine with my pork. I'm going to have a little bit now. I could smell it. And it looks big and dark and brooding. And they say Chilean wine has a certain taste and smell. I don't know if I'm able to depict that or get that out of these. It actually does smell different. It does. I don't know if I would ever know, oh, okay, this is a Chilean cab or Chilean wine based on it, but this definitely has a different aroma than Cabernets out of California and France, without a doubt. And maybe that's the aroma they're talking about. Call it quince. I don't know. It's got a lot of aromas. There's raspberries in there. There's cherries. Bright cherries. And I guess that quince character's there. I'm not really getting anything herbal. A little bit of leather. Some other element, something in there. Maybe a smokiness that I'm not loving on the aroma, but we'll see. Really good mouthfeel, great tannin, good grip. Wine's big. It's a big wine. What's the alcohol? It's a little hot. Burns my throat a little bit. Looks like 14 point something percent. It's young. It's 2018. I think it needs to decant more, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I actually like it. Right now I like it. Let's see how it evolves. I will most definitely do an update on this wine. I'm thinking this wine could get better or it could fade in a different direction. I'm not sure. I'm detecting a little bit of that green pepper to capsicum. I don't mind that, but I don't want a lot of it. I don't want green pepper wine. That's just no good for me. It's coming. A little bit of that is what I'm getting now, as it's opening up a little more green pepper. So it's tasting a little more vegetal on the palate. So I think I want to let this open up. Should I have it with the pork, or just let it open and see what happens? I don't know. I'll make a decision. And I'm gonna go have my pork now. This is actually really big. This might be too big for pork. It's just overpowering. So I'm gonna maybe have this later with some cheese. So I'm gonna let it sit, decant, see how it does. The other two wines I bought were Fumé Blanc from Gurgich Hills. Fumé Blanc was the name that Mondavi gave Sauvignon, oak-aged Sauvignon Blanc. I think it was oak-aged Sauvignon Blanc from California. And they make one called Fumé Blanc. Not many people call it that, I think. It could just be regular Sauvignon Blanc without oak, but I'm pretty sure that's how it got that name many moons ago. Or they were just trying to be different. I forget exactly now. But anyway, Fumé Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc from Gurgich Hills. Good producer of wine. And I got a White Haven, which is on the $13 or $15 Sauvignon Blanc out of New Zealand. I think it's fresh, it's grassy, it's pineapple-y, it's tropical, it's great. For $15 Sauvignon Blanc out of New Zealand, I recommend the White Haven. I really enjoy that one. I've never had the Gurgich Hills Fumé Blanc, so we'll see how that is. Try that in a few days. So that was the other two wines, and that rounded out to 12. I'm really curious. I want to like this wine. I want this wine to be good. I want to try more Chilean wines. This is $30. It's pretty affordable for how big it tastes, and I just hope it's going to evolve in the right direction. I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to see how it is also tomorrow. Okay, dinner time. Have a good night.